Good morning. You can hear the sounds of spring all around me. Birds and all sorts of stuff. Well, we're going to walk this way today, and I'm going to record this way because it is just so bright over there. Even with my blast shield down, that morning sun is just beating up my brain. I can't deal this morning, so I'm going to walk over here in this cul-de-sac where there's shade, and we're going to talk about something. It's something kind of heavy, too. So, my mother's husband, not my stepdad, I don't call him that. My mother's husband, the one that she's been with for most of her life, he is retiring from I think 33 or 34 year full career with a large company. And it's large. He does some kind of scientific research and development, quality control stuff. Real boring, intelligent white guy work, right? Well, he's been with this company for 33, 34 years, and he's retiring. And I noticed sitting on my mother's couch yesterday that there's this big framed picture of a faraway shot of the industry that he works for, the physical location. And there's like 30 or 40 people that signed it. And I don't recognize any of the names because he's never talked about them. And so I asked him about it. I said, "Excuse me, what is this? Why are all these people like..." I assume that this is or was a customary retirement thing. And he goes, "Yeah, it's weird. I don't even know half the people who sign that." He's like, "They just work in different departments, and I guess they're aware of my work, and I don't know if this is standard or whatever. But I guess it was a nice gesture, so I kept it and didn't throw it away." So, it started making me think about the meaning, or the meaninglessness, I guess is what I should say, about what our culture's turned into. Because think about what it was like in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. When we look at television, when we read books, when we look at comics, when we read dime novels and stuff from the earlier 1900s, people took their work seriously. And because there was meritocracy and men hadn't been vilified and thrown away yet, men tested themselves against each other at work, personal lives, and there was more of a camaraderie, more of a brotherhood in the workforce. And then also, keep in mind, in the formation of the America that I knew growing up, there was this concept of American greatness, of we create good things, good structures, good products, good ways of being for business. And there was a lot of back and forth among business competitors to try to make a better product, to try to be a better business and reach more customers in like a healthy way. And that's all been lost. That's gone now. And so it makes me wonder, if you didn't start working until like the 90s or the aughts, and you give your life to a company, that doesn't have the same meaning, that doesn't have the same connotation that it once did. It's almost like you choose which plantation to be a slave for 30 or 40 years of your life. That's more like what it is now. And so, I didn't want to bother him or get too heavy with him because he's already got health problems. I don't know how much longer he's going to live. Like, he's had Crohn's disease and cancer, and he's beat all that stuff, though, and his doctors say he's healthy, but, I mean, he's getting older, and he's beaten a lot of medical problems, and 2 of them are chronic, so it's not like he can ever really get rid of them. But anyway, I just casually asked him, I said, "So, do you, like, is retiring a big deal for you? Like, are you going to miss these people or miss this job?" And he's like, "No, I couldn't wait to get out of there." And upon plumbing his mind for why, it's because about 6 or 8 years ago, a bunch of rabid anti-white, anti-Western, anti-male, anti-Christian Marxoids took over HR for his company. And they've been on a witch hunt to get rid of white men for years. They're making everything worse. These diversity commissars, these DIE enforcement justicars, they're pushing ESG into everything. And he says that it's made the business miserable to work for, miserable to work with. And he's glad to get the hell out of there. He didn't use that language, of course. That's me using language for what I know he's talking about. But it just makes me think about how much different things were 60, 80, 100 years ago in the formation of what made this country and the civics that we have take the structure that it did. In another 80 or 100 years, that's all going to be gone. Unless we do something about it. Which, I know that times change and you can't preserve the past. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about building things that have meaning and value that come from a real place. And back in the day, a long time ago, in the earlier 1900s, I do think that there was more genuine energy, genuine pathos in work. Because people knew they had to go to work. It was part of the Industrial Revolution, part of the Reconstruction era, all this other stuff, right? We developed this sense of belonging around work entities. That's why in the 1900s there was all kinds of things like work co-ops, work PPO and HMO, work networks for all different kinds of stuff, from medical services to trading post services where people would swap vehicles and farm equipment and stuff like that. Like, that stuff all existed when I was a kid in the 80s. That was still around. It was fading out, but it was still around. So I wonder what else is faded? What else is going to be taken away? What else are we going to lose in this process? I think that the answer, quite honestly, is everything. I think that whatever society we have that works for us ain't going to look or be anything like what we have now. And I don't necessarily mean because every single thing done in the 1900s is evil and was bad for us. I don't think everything was. But I do think that having a culture, a society, civics, business sculpted around the well-being for Western people is not going to look anything at all like what we've had for the last 40 or 50 years. It's going to be radically different. It would have to be. So, what am I saying with this video this morning? It's just, it really hit me that in my mind, when I think of a man who works for a company for more than half of his life, 35 years, let's say, for him to retire, and when I ask him about it, all he has to say is, I don't really know half those people, and I'm glad to get out of there because it's ass. Like, I can't imagine feeling that way, giving 35 years of my life to something, working there 45, 50, 60 hours a week, because he was salary. He worked pretty high up in R&D for some kind of weird, I don't know, stuff I don't understand, like polymer engineering or some shit. And so, like I said, really smart, boring white guy work. And to give so much of your life to something and it not really matter, and it give you no meaning and no fulfillment. What the hell are we doing with our lives? What were we walked into 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago? What were the boomers walked into? They were basically turned into slave drones for a system that hates them and wants them dead. And that sort of just weighs on me today, and I wanted to talk about it this morning. Because my life already, I suffer privately from a lack of personal fulfillment. Because no one in my life has really taken this dissonant journey with me. I've had to go it alone. And it's like, I've written about this on my Substack, I've talked about it before. It's like, most of the time I feel like a stranger to my own kin now. And there's a nice old lady coming, so I'm going to have to cut some of this out because she'll want to talk to me. Okay, there she goes. She's really friendly, and we always talk when we pass each other walking. Anyway, this is quite early for her. She's normally not out this early. Anyway, like I told you guys, I suffer with that, being lonely in my own personal life. We already know that. We don't have to cover that again right now. But when I think of what could lead to more of that, if we all have to work, and we all have to do something to generate resources just to be a part of this machine called civilization or society, right? The more soulless and miserable that becomes, the less quality people will be involved, and those people will not be involved with maintaining this complex civic engineering miracle that we call modern Western civilization. So it makes me think, People like my mother's husband, really smart, really dedicated white guy. When they're all gone, what's going to run the machine? Like these DIE headhunters that try to get rid of people like my mother's husband. What if they succeed and they just get rid of everybody competent, skillful, and experienced in every field? That's not a culture or a civilization anymore for us, is it? So what we really need to do as people, what we need to build and do, is make a new everything. I know it was a meme a while back. Well, just make your own Patreon, bigot. Just make your own bank, bigot. Make your own Facebook, bigot. But we really do need to start doing that. I think that it is a mistake to look at all of this and take the Luddite path and say, oh, well, we all need to be like Amish. Or we all need to be like the Hasidic Jews in New York or whatever. No. No, we don't. Because our enemies don't seek to leave us alone. They seek to eradicate us, our thoughts, our history, our traditions, everything about us. And if we go low-tech, eventually they will destroy us because there will be a dissonance in technological development and technological capability. I don't think that's a good path. What I do think is a good path is creating our own separate infrastructure, trade, communications, making our own businesses and our own industries for us. That's not easy, and it won't be accomplished in my lifetime. But I think that's the only way forward for us, is we are going to have an emergent, separate, parallel civilization for us. That's what we're going to have to do. You look at Orania, I don't know how to say it, in South Africa. I listen to Ernst Van Zyl. His channel has a lot of excellent content about motivated white people who haven't given up in South Africa, who are doing exactly this. I think that is our path forward. We have to start building and breathing life back into the precious infrastructure and concepts that led us to being an amazing country and an amazing people that did great things. We have to build that. We have to generate that. It has to come from us. I wish I knew how to get any of this started or what to do, but I'm just a poor hillbilly. I don't really know how to get all this stuff started, but people I have on my channel, like Mike of Pole, well, they're doing stuff like this already. They're building their own metalworking shop and machine shop and stuff, and they're building a network of people who want to trade together, do 3D printing, prototyping together, make each other and repair each other's tools and equipment and stuff. That's a start. We need to do that with everything. But that's going to be rough. And I hope and I pray that everything that we know in our civilization is not going to come tumbling down because of white erasure, because of destroying the only people that are proper to inherit such a system. But I worry now. I worry that that's not going to happen. So, anyway, it was just talking to him about that retirement stuff. It really hit me in the think. And it made me just ponder the meaninglessness of these long career corporate guys that give their whole life away being a pocket engineer or a computer programmer or an air traffic controller or something to these evil companies that are just hollowed out by anti-whiteism, just sickened with anti-male, anti-white hatred with these DIE commissars. Like, it just breaks my heart to see that in the course of my lifetime, I got to watch all of that fade away and die. Now, I'm sure that there are some healthy companies out there, and I hope that they survive. I hope that all of the healthy, still good structures remain and grow, and they can be the roots that we grow a better civilization from. I really do hope and pray that. But I worry. And so I wanted to share that stuff with you guys today. Well, I've got my blast shield down, and this is where we're going to wrap up the video. Look how beautiful this morning. You can hear the birds. I don't know if you can hear the gentle breeze or not. There's almost none, but I can feel it blowing behind me. Barely a cloud in the sky. It's just a beautiful, bright spring morning. Over here in the wealthy people leg of the neighborhood. Alright, well, we're going to wrap it up there. I will see you guys Thursday night for Empire of Lies, and I hope you all have a blessed week, and I will see you next Monday night as well for more Discordant Dragons like usual. So, 2 streams coming up, Thursday and Monday night like usual. So, I'll see you guys then. Do the best that you can to create meaning and healthy connections. I guess that's the theme of this walk this morning. Just invest in things that will create a better community and give better structure for the people that matter. So I guess that's it. Anyway, I love you guys. God bless.